So here's another easy job that you can do when you've got access to the front of the engine on this Mercedes C280. So the power steering reservoir actually has the filter in it. On the older Mercedes, there was actually a separate filter that you could take off, and it was like any other oil filter. You know, you've got an oil filter for your engine, you've got an air filter, you've got a fuel filter. So the power steering pump had its own filter as well, and you used to be able to take it off and replace it. But on these newer ones, the filter is actually built into the reservoir is what I discovered. So you just want to go ahead and empty this. There's one hose clamp here, and there's one clip down here, and then there's one bolt at the bottom, and it comes off and you can put it right back in. So let me just show you the new one just to show you how easy it is.
And don't forget to sign up for our giveaway from our friends over at HyperTough. They're giving away a HyperStack modular toolbox system. So make sure to check below for the link on how to sign up.
One thing I considered doing was adding an external filter. So this is an inline magnetic filter for the power steering pump. And I thought about adding that on. I'll put a link in the description below to this filter, but this car isn't driven very much. The advantage of putting in an inline filter is then you don't have to change the reservoir as frequently. So you can just change the inline filter before you actually need to go ahead and fill the reservoir. So it's real simple, just a couple hose clamps, and you cut a little bit of section of hose out and stick this filter right in the middle of it, and you've got a removable filter. So here's the new part, and if we open it up, and you can see all you have to do is take out that one bolt, and then that's where the hose goes, and then there's a clip that holds that section in. So let me show you the clip. And then so there's this clip that just pops in and holds this in, and then there's actually also a O-ring that you want to replace when you take that clip out. And when you pull this off, there'll be a little O-ring on there, which is this. And then you put everything back in, you oil it up a little bit, put it back in and refill it and burp the system, and you're all done. So let's go ahead and do it. Okay, first thing I'm gonna do is just pop this off, real easy. Just give it a good yank, and it comes right off. Just kind of put it to the side. Then there is no drain on here, so you're gonna wanna suck out as much oil as you can. You could just use a turkey baster and just go in there and suck everything out. I've got another suction tool that I think works a little bit better, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that. So I've got this suction gun from Harbor Freight. Put a link to something very similar to it that you can get from Amazon. But again, this just makes it a little bit easier than the turkey baster. But again, turkey baster works as well. I get those from the dollar store. Okay, now that I've sort of sucked out as much of the oil as I can, there's still gonna be a little bit left at the bottom. You're not gonna get all of it. So I just put a few paper towels at the bottom. So I'll go ahead and loosen that one bolt, and then I'll get behind there, and then right there is where you pull it out. So let me loosen this hose, try to get this hose out of the way, and then you can see that down there. And then it's a matter of just getting that E-Torx bolt out, which is right there, and then we can just pull this whole thing out. So let me go ahead and do that. So you can either take a flathead screwdriver or a 7mm nut, loosen that, and I also put a hose clamp on here. You're gonna lose a little bit of fluid as this comes out. So yeah, there it is. So lose a little bit of fluid. Look how nasty it is. This has been on the car for about 180,000 miles. So this oil is pretty old. So let me tighten the clamp a little bit more. It still looks like it's leaking a bit of oil. Once that's out of the way, then we just want to go down here and pull that retaining clip out. And I'm just using a pick tool here and just working it out. I have a spare. You can keep this one if it's in good condition, but I bought a spare one just in case. These tend to go flying out. Work it out either with a pick tool or a flathead screwdriver. And let me get two hands on there so I don't lose it. Now got the retaining clip out, so just need to remove that E-Torx, and we can pull the reservoir from the engine. And it's just an E11 Torx screw. And so once you take that out, this reservoir is now loose. I'm going to put the paper towels back at the bottom of this because I'm worried that there might be a little bit more oil coming out of the bottom where I removed that clip. So put all this stuff aside, get some more paper towels in there, and then we'll pull this out. Lost a little bit more oil as it was coming out, but now you can see it's out, and that's where the O-ring goes, and that's where the clip is. And so I've just got a paper towel just kind of holding it in as we go ahead and get the new one and pop it in. So we've got the new power steering reservoir here. Let's just take that out, and you'll notice there's no O-ring on the inside, so you definitely want to get that O-ring in there. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on it, just like you do your oil filter. Put a little oil on the O-ring, put that in there, seat that in there, and then we got everything back together. So we got this hose back on, we got the bottom clip back in, we've got the E-Torx back on the front. It was easier to put the O-ring on the post and then slide the reservoir over the post rather than putting the O-ring inside the reservoir and then trying to install everything back together. So again, oil up the O-ring, put it on the post, and then slide the reservoir over the post and the O-ring. Last thing to do is just to fill it up. Wow, this cap is tight when it's brand new. Goodness. Is just to fill it up and then burp it and then just make sure it's level. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. Okay, I filled it all up. So we're gonna go ahead and burp the system. And so how you do that, or burp it or bleed it, is you basically go in, start the car, and then turn it all the way to the right, hold it for a couple seconds, then turn it, hold it all the way to the left, hold it for a couple seconds, and you kind of repeat that process a couple times as you get all the air bubbles out of the system. Then we'll come back up and top off the system, put the cap on, check for any leaks. Okay, well, I don't see any signs of leaking. So I think we're in good shape. And I just turned the steering wheel from left to right, full lock on each side a couple times. And well, let's go ahead and check the level. Again, this is real quick. Just do a second check for any leaks. Looks like it's no leaks. And then let's see, we'll just check the level real quick. And it looks like we're all topped off. Let me just wipe it down real quick and check it again. Yeah, looks like we're right in between min and max. So I think that is good. Don't need to top it off any. And again, no obvious signs of leaking. So we'll keep monitoring it. So that's it. Quick and easy job. Takes about 30 minutes, start to finish. You can flush the fluid by just sort of suctioning it out and then filling it with new fluid. But again, there's no way to replace this filter. It's built into the reservoir. Some guy had done a cutaway view. Let me see if I can pull that image up and show it to you so you can see the filter that's inside. So this car had about 180,000 miles on it. It's definitely past due for a new filter on this. Hopefully it'll last another 150,000 miles. But again, real quick and easy job to do. If you got the front of the engine apart, it's easy. But even if you don't, it's real easy. But you know, this thermostat hose, if it's not in the way, it's just gives you a little bit more access. So let me go ahead and button everything up, and I think we're job done.
If you're enjoying these videos, please consider subscribing to the channel and to the newsletter using the links below. We'll share more tool buying tips, classic car and classic motorcycle project finds, some motorsport news, and maybe a wrenching tip or two.